This is the Aptitude Outdoors podcast, where we interview travelers, explorers, and outdoorsmen and women to bring you the best tips and stories from around the world. I've been super excited for a long time to do this podcast because Jim and Cale here both have thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail, and I have not talked to anyone besides my wife, Christina, who has also thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail with me. So this is going to be awesome to see a different perspective from everyone. I'm actually super stoked about this. Mm-hmm. So let's get into it, guys. What was your inspiration for the trail? What was your the kickoff point where I need to do this?
So we might have two really different stories. I don't know.
Better.
But I just remember, so I was a nurse up in Toledo for 3.5 years, mm-hmm. and I had gotten to a point where the job was good. I liked my coworkers, but I wanted to do something else, right? And I got to that point where I was like, well, I'm still young enough, I have plenty of time to switch jobs, as far as nursing goes, the nursing world, there's a lot of different opportunities. But at the same time, I didn't want to jump from one job to the next job. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do something else. And I honestly don't remember why I said the Appalachian Trail. I remember I came home one night and Jim and I kind of had similar feelings about our jobs. They were good jobs, but we both were looking for something different. And I came home and I said, what do you think about hiking the Appalachian Trail? And this is the guy that I went to Yellowstone with too. Mm-hmm. And that same trip I was like, Jim, let's go to Yellowstone. And he's like, all right. And I told him, hey, you want to do the Appalachian Trail? And you said,
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
No hesitation.
So it was
So I normally work 8 to 5, that sort of job. And then Cale, he's a nurse, so he only works 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
So he normally, I beat him home, but he beat me home one night, because we were roommates at the time. And he...
At the time. We were roommates for 9 years.
Yeah.
That's a minute. That's quite some time.
Yeah, almost 10.
So we just know each other a little bit.
Yeah. If you count the trail, that's probably 10 years.
It was, it was. Yeah. We got to the point where we were fighting old married people.
Yeah. That's how you know. That's how you know you're friends.
Yeah. You're right.
That's
true.
I don't have any friends that I don't argue with.
That's good.
Yeah.
You need to argue with your friends.
Yeah. They keep you in line.
Yeah.
So you just were cool, yeah, let's do this, or
no hesitation?
I
came home, it was a bad day. and he asked me this question, completely out of the blue. And I just yes, let's plan it. And then he was kind of shocked by my quick answer. I felt like.
I was amazed. I just what?
Yeah. I think
I was expecting some pushback.
Yeah. And then we put together a timeline, let's think about it for a month, and then if we still have the same answer, let's come back and let's do it. So a month later, I had slightly more hesitations, because it's a big step to quit what it was our first jobs out of college.
Oh, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's for sure scary.
Yeah, very daunting, as my sisters would like to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how long did you guys put into your planning? Was it a big endeavor, or was it just kind of we're doing it this year?
I think we started in September. That's when we made that final.
I think what did we have 5 or 6 months?
Yeah.
It was somewhere. Yeah. So it was roughly a half year or so.
Yeah. What year was your guys through hike? It was
2018.
Yeah.
2018.
Okay.
So you guys just got together and agreed, and how much research did you do?
Jim definitely did more than I did. Let me say that. But
research wise, so I found several blogs that I just read throughout my time working, lunch whenever I could,
or during your actual job hours.
No, you don't work there anymore, do you? No.
Yeah. It's fine. Doing what anyone would do. Yeah.
Only 1 million people hear it. So
yeah. 1 million.
1 million.
But so I did tons of research, and then I starting out I was really into the gear, and then I'm I don't think it really matters. I think I just should go with the cheapest not breaking the bank, but adequate gear. Like what I had, like granted, I bought everything new, granted for this trip, but I did it over the course of 5-6 months or whatever it was. And that kind of helped like offset the cost. So
right. You guys kind of teamed up, planned it together. And then what was it like to actually just get up out of the chair and go?
I mean, like Jim was saying, like it's extremely daunting, and especially like the idea of like, all right, you had a good like adult job, you're working, you're making decent money. Like we were being successful young adults, and then we were
normal.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
It totally is. And like a lot of people don't understand that, and it's something like after it's all said and done, it's like it's this incredible thing that only people that have been like serious hikers or through hikers understand.
Well, yeah, and I've noticed that people that are interested in through hiking, there's a lot of people that want to do it, and there's people like you guys who actually go out and do it, and there's a big separation, a huge separation. Because I met you guys, I gave some presentation at the Metro Parks, like randomly that they asked me to do.
Yes,
and you guys were there.
So the first time I came to one of your presentations, because I came to two of them. Mm-hmm. I forget where it was, but it was like it was almost like a private house. Yeah, it was in Perrysburg. It was like a privatized type building. It looked like a little cottage, and I drove up, and your wife was there with you. And
that was at the oh my gosh, 577 Foundation.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I remember that.
And that's when I met you. And it was because of this guy, this eccentric guy named Paul, right?
I know one of those.
Not you, but another guy named Paul. And, he was always interested in like what I was doing. He became a friend of mine at the gym. And he was like, what's your next adventure? What are you doing next? That's what he'd always ask me. And I was like, I'm thinking about doing the Appalachian Trail. And then he got back with me and he's like, you know what? I'm going to send you an email because I just saw in like a paper or something, this guy named Paul is doing a talk about the Appalachian Trail, and he thru-hiked it. And I was like, this is perfect. Like this was meant to be.
Yeah.
Like I need to go meet this guy and just, hear what you had to say.
It's so funny because those presentations were like, I never had any public speaking experience ever. And like these people were just like, I had a summer I worked at the parks, and then they, of course, they all find out that you do this, you thru-hike, and then they started, like, everybody started asking me, like, got to the point where I started saying no because I was tired of doing them, because you get tired of talking about it after a while, but, like...
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you really?
It's been 5 years for me almost, like, I'm already on to different things that I want to do, but, like...
Right.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
no, it's cool. I don't have anybody to talk to. That's why I was so stoked to do this podcast. Like, you guys get it. I talked to my grandma, and she's like, that's great.
Right.
She doesn't care. Like, she didn't do it. She doesn't understand.
That's like the majority of people that I've talked to,
Yeah.
So,
like everyone like says, like, oh, it's really wonderful that you did that.
Yeah,
or like,
but they have no concept of it. It makes no sense to them.
No.
What is 2,000 miles?
What is 5 months? Like
yeah.
Like, what does an average person do in 5 months? Like, wake up, go to work, go home, watch TV, wake up, go to work,
Repeat.
Live weekend to weekend. And this is like... insanity at some sort of level, but like in a cool way. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. It's cool that you guys are the only two people I know that have actually thru-hiked after telling me you wanted to. That's why I was so stoked for this to like get together. I haven't talked to you about it. This is the first time we've
first meeting since the shakedown.
Yeah.
Shakedown hike.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
the shakedown.
The shakedown. Living room shakedown.
Yeah, the living room shakedown. So I was just talking to Jim earlier, and I said, when was the last time we saw Paul? And I think it was February of 2018. And then we took off, and, we were in contact while we were on the trail. And then afterwards and since, I text you every once in a while and see how's it going. And I've been meaning to meet up with you. I kind of wanted to like go back to like Oak openings and maybe go for like a hike and just like talk about everything, kind of try to unpack stuff. Should have done that probably
like 2 years ago.
A while ago. But no, this is perfect. This is the perfect thing.
So the thing for me that was I think the most nervous I've ever was in my life was going down there and actually starting the trail. Will you guys feel the same way?
I was very nervous.
Oh yeah.
sweaty palms
Yeah.
the entire way.
Terrified.
Like, yeah.
So what, like a full day and a half drive to get down to Georgia from Toledo, basically, or
10, 12 hours.
Yeah, and we actually split it up. Like we kind of had like almost like a going away, not party, but we had a going away like breakfast.
Send off, yeah.
Nice.
Like a little send off. It was at my parents' house, and Jim obviously came down with. It was just your dad, right?
Yeah, it was my dad. Yeah.
Yeah, his dad brought him down, and then two of our really good friends, Joe and Pat, they actually drove us. They decided, we'll take you guys down there, so we didn't have to fly. We didn't have to rent anything. It was easy.
Amicable falls.
Yeah.
is
However
the
you say it.
start. Yeah.
Yeah, so we took our time because we didn't start until it was Saturday morning.
Yeah,
We left on Thursday.
I'm really glad that we took our time though, because I was nervous. So I was like, it was kind of like a buildup as you got closer and closer. The more nervous you kind of became.
Right.
Like,
And what month did you guys start?
March 10th.
March.
Yeah.
The date that we started hiking.
Right.
So before we start diving in, how much hiking backpacking experience did you have before the trail?
You can go.
So I had like very little. Like we were both in Boy Scouts, but I did Philmont. He didn't, and then we did
Rub it in.
Yeah,
Just rub it in. I haven't been to Philmont. Everyone always says that.
any chance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, any chance I can get, I'll rub it.
What's it like to be the outcast for once?
Yeah, we've turned the tables.
I'll turn this day. But no, it was so very little. Like Boy Scouts hiking is completely different than what we did,
Right.
Because like Boy Scouts, like you cast iron stove is
Oh, yeah.
nothing. Like it was.
And
at
how
least,
old were you when you went to Philmont?
I think I was like 14, 15.
Yeah,
around
so,
there.
like-
Doesn't even count.
Doesn't count. It was
So-
like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, like from more than 10 years.
Yeah, but so very little, and then we did like was supposed to be like a 20-mile hike that turned into 30 miles out in Yellowstone.
Who could forget that?
Yeah,
We've all been there.
yeah.
I think
Many people wanted to like throw me off a cliff after that because
That was
I
funny.
was the map.
And you still hike together.
it was funny because it's a completely different story, but we went, there was 4 of us. So Jim and myself were included in that 4. And, we decided to go on this trip to Yellowstone and do this hike. Our original hike, we couldn't do it because there was still too much snow in parts of Yellowstone, which,
This just shows how much we planned for that.
Yeah.
We're coming from
basically
Toledo. Like,
you just get on Google and you're like, what's the best hike or what are really good hikes? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, this one around Shoshone Lake or Shoshone, however you say
yeah,
it.
it was like a loop, so it was perfect.
Yeah, forgive us. We're from Ohio, man. We're not good at pronouncing stuff.
No.
Corn.
Yeah.
We got that one.
I like to say Ohio. I said Ohio.
Ooh.
Or somebody just corrected me for saying Maumee the other day. Maumee River.
That's what it is.
Well, they were like,
Sounds
it
correct.
sounds like you're saying mommy. Like, mommy,
That's the weirdest thing I ever heard.
That's what I thought too. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I've been saying it right my whole life, but maybe I'm wrong.
Apparently not.
Yeah, who cares?
Anyways,
Anyways, like
so our trip, Jim accidentally, because obviously not on purpose, he wouldn't take us a mile the wrong way, but we had underestimated this hike so badly that by the end of the day, we didn't make it to our designated campsite until like 9:30. I don't know.
yeah,
It's completely dark
completely
outside.
dark. We had like multiple different levels of like fitness too in our
Yes.
group, and
Yeah.
that like we were like one person would run ahead. Not saying anyone's name, but Cale. and then like other people that were a little slower, and and just completely exhausted because we weren't planning on doing that because we had to hike 2 extra miles, and
Right. But who picked that hike?
this guy.
This guy. Which we didn't
The
know.
Philmont guy.
Yeah, the Philmont. But we didn't know. So we didn't know.
I think that's the best experience though, because you
was.
learn
You're right.
oh, I suck at this.
You're
I need
right.
to really prepare.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right.
I learned that on the Appalachian Trail. So,
but somehow-
you had more experience than me.
Yeah.
Somehow he left me in charge of like the map, like day to day, like in the beginning. I'm like, why? Like, I'm bad at this. Like, but
Right. But anyways, so my point with the Yellowstone story is that like from that experience, I then figured out like whenever I'm going out on a hike, never expect everything to go 100% right.
Oh yeah.
'Cause it's just you should never do that.
Not in any
Because
situation.
you're building yourself up.
You're welcome. Yeah.
To
Fail.
let,
Life
for
lesson.
failure.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for teaching me, Jim.
So was that
Lesson
your
learned.
first experience backpacking? Or
I guess. I think it was.
Because you got the backpack for like that birthday. Of
I
that
got
year,
the pack that I used for the Yellowstone trip was a gift from my dad for my birthday, and so that's the one I used. And I was buying all like new stuff and trying to figure out what we were gonna use and like what kind of meals we were gonna have. And so Yellowstone was like our first big adventure together.
It was a really fun trip. Though.
It takes 24 hours to
yeah.
drive there.
yeah, that's a drive. It's like 3/4 of the way across the U.S. basically.
It's wild. Yeah, we even got pulled over.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's bad. Well, okay, so
Thanks, South Dakota, for that.
so you guys have had some previous hiking experience together before
Yeah.
going on the trail, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
But it was like 2.5 days. Like,
Hey, it's better than nothing.
But that's another one of those like fun facts from the Appalachian Trail, which I thought was really cool, was that there are so many people that just go and they're like, I'm going to do the Appalachian Trail.
Like Big Ben was one of them.
With
like,
zero hiking experience. Zero camping experience.
Like,
nothing.
I just want to do this. Like,
And they make it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you're amazing.
Some people just get something in their head and they just do it.
Yeah. Those are really special people.
And I think that's what the Appalachian Trail is overall. Even people that are super experienced, like it still sucks sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not all fun.
It's
not-
It's rarely fun actually.
it's definitely not for the weak, but it's very fulfilling. Like,
yeah. So you guys get dropped off down there.
Yeah.
We'll pick up here. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this story. So you guys get dropped off. What's going through your head?
I'm doing it. Like,
Yeah.
just let's hike it.
I can't go home.
Yeah. I know.
I told way
yes,
too many
yes.
people that I'm doing this. If I will have to die before I come off of this thing.
That was definitely the
There's no way.
motivation in the snowy months.
I'm not
like,
going to back out because I think to begin
Can't go
with,
home.
like when I left my job, there was a lot of people that were like, "You're crazy. Like, why are you doing this? It's dangerous. Are you going to bring a gun? Like, are there wild animals out there?" Like, well, yeah, there's wild animals out there.
woods.
It's the mountains.
Of course.
Yeah, it's the mountains. It's the woods. It's nature. But yeah, you couldn't turn back now.
Yeah, I felt the same exact way. I literally got out of the car and I was like, this is it. Like I've put too much time and effort and like I got to cash that check that my mouth wrote, I can't go back looking like an idiot.
No,
absolutely.
And, I was terrified. I was so scared because like you kind of touched on a little bit. Everybody that you know is telling you you're an idiot, basically.
Yeah.
And like, why would you do something so stupid? And it is like, I have to show these people that they're wrong.
Yes.
Like a lot of that was going through my head, but at the same time, I was like, I'm in way too deep right now. Like,
I think that was like the very like beginning motivation, like to get it to continue on, like in the beginning, and then like you start feeling comfortable like halfway through, and then it was like I gotta get to the end. I gotta get to Katahdin. Like that. Like that's the different mentality.
Waves,
waves of mentality.
So how far did you guys make it on your first day?
Oh man.
So we were planning on. We did the approach trail,
which I didn't want to do.
but
I didn't do the approach trail.
well,
Because we started
Wow.
2
You're
months.
one of those.
Oh yeah.
Who's the outlier now?
We started in May, and I
yeah.
was terrified already that we weren't going to make it.
Yeah.
So we literally, there's like a parking lot below
Springer
Springer Mountain.
Yeah.
And we hiked up and back down Springer and
Yeah.
started there.
Yeah.
It was, I think my grandpa almost killed us driving up that. It was like a Forest Service road up a mountain.
Right. Yeah.
Terrifying.
It's out there.
It was
Because
crazy.
the approach trail is what? It's 8 miles or something? Mm-hmm. And like
It's like 8.8. So we planned on going to Springer, but that shelter was full. And it was like already raining.
You started in prime time.
Yeah. It was already like raining. And so we continued on hiking.
it was beautiful at first though.
It was.
It was a beautiful day at first. And it like you said, it started raining. But our friends that were driving away, Pat and Joe, they said while they were driving away, Pat was like looking at the sky and just like, oh, there's a storm coming. And, you know, at that point, like, we have no contact. It was like they just dropped us off. Like, they're not going to call us and be like, hey, boys, there's a storm coming, you know?
Yep.
But, yeah, like,
So
started raining.
It started raining like last mile up Springer, and like we get there, we take a picture with the little plaque there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you go southbound. Just saying, like I'll get that out of the way right now. But
why you go southbound?
Why you go southbound, and then that's
It's a mental deficiency.
it's the like compared to like Katahdin, Springer doesn't even compare.
Yeah, it's like a hill.
Yeah, it's really a hill.
Like
I
the
don't
plaque
even know
versus
why it's
the
a mountain.
sign. Like it's. I don't know why you go southbound. Sorry.
Probably just timing.
Yeah,
It
timing.
really
Weather.
is the schedule, and it sucks, but that's what. Hey, if you're gonna hike it.
Yeah.
But
Well, so did you guys have any like super insane learning curves your first couple of weeks? Because I sure did. I was like out of my element so hard. Like I've been camping and stuff before, but
Right.
nothing. You're basically self-sufficient out there. Like you have to learn how to do everything and timing your water and timing your camping and like getting caught by dark and
yeah, I'd say at least in the beginning, like there was not like we had like 2 liters of water constantly, and it was like really I only need like a half a liter.
Yeah.
You know, like
because there's water
just to get to the next
Yeah, there was a lot of water.
source.
There was a lot of water at first.
And then like as far as like take it slow in the beginning, and then
Which I felt like I was like part of me was like worried at the beginning. I was like, listen, this might be like an easier part maybe at the beginning, but we can't like just kill ourselves.
can't
Just like
just rush.
try to
Yeah.
like
That's actually very
smash
smart.
out the miles.
Because a lot of people do the opposite. They just feel panicked and just start trying to push it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's not a good way to go because you're just starting. Like
Yeah.
if you started to train for your first marathon, you wouldn't go 25 miles the first day.
No.
You would
No.
go like 8
You'd
or
be laid
6
up
or
in a
5.
hospital bed.
Yeah.
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 So that's actually. Did you guys stick to that though, or did you actually like kill yourselves?
For the most part.
Yeah.
There were like occasional days that we did like, so we tried to stick to 8 to 10 early, and then we ended up like pushing like 15 or 18, and then we took it back to 8 to 10, like just
some of
to
the
see
harder
what we
sections.
could do.
Yeah.
It wasn't really like we didn't like look at the ups and downs so in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah, not really.
Like we just looked at the mileage and hey, there's a shelter here at like mile 8, or we can go to like mile 15 or something like that and find a shelter or a campsite.
The weather was so various, I guess, at the beginning, where it would be like our first day, you know, rained on us. So like, and for me, I think what happened, I think one of my shoes got completely soaking wet the very first day, and you're just you're trudging along, one soaked foot, you're cold, you know, like your backpack, hopefully you pack that the appropriate way. Before you get everything wet in there that you want to be dry, and then like your clothes are all wet. Dealing with the wetness, you know,
Sucks.
It does,
It's the worst part of the whole.
especially if you have a tent to take down.
Yeah.
it adds a bunch of weight to your pack too when it's all wet like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I think I had an extra like 15 pounds of just trail mix too that I started
At the
off
beginning,
with, like
yeah.
at the beginning
Yeah.
because like people didn't know what to get me like
Just trail
going
mix.
away and
How
trail
about 5
mix.
pounds of trail mix?
Yeah, I'm like I'm not gonna let this go to waste. So
Yeah.
I just packed in the bag, as an idiot. Like
I think
looking
no
back.
matter how much you try and prepare appropriately, you always bring too much food to start out. Everyone, I don't
yeah.
think there's anybody that doesn't do that.
No.
Like I still do that because it's been so long since I've actually done like big miles that I'm like, how much food do I need? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
enough.
It's really like a luxury too.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to bring luxury items, you totally can.
Nowadays, I totally do.
Yeah.
because I'm only going like 5-6 miles
like
a
mountain
day.
house.
Yeah, like I'm not. Why be rough?
I don't need to eat ramen every night.
Yeah, I still do for old time's sake.
Do
but
you? Yeah.
A little here and
Just
there.
a little taste.
Just a little snip, a little salt, swell up the old fingers.
Yeah.
Shut down the heart.
Some spam.
Oh God, no! I never went that. I never
You
did
never
the spam
did?
route. No.
Really?
I had bad childhood memories of spam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't eat it.
Yeah.
If I
Would
was
you like
dying,
to talk about it right now?
Yeah,
this
that's
the
actually why I
time?
brought
This is
you
the
guys
perfect
here.
time.
I really want. I knew you were big spam fanatics. I really
Yeah.
wanted to air my grievances on Spam. No, it's just nasty. My dad used to make it. I thought it was the most disgusting thing ever. I just would never eat it.
Oh.
But,
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's,
That's that.
Like Spam, for us, it was like a good protein, you know.
Very kosher.
I mean, it's salty protein. But
you need it out there.
what did you have for protein as opposed to like using Spam? Or did you really worry about it?
Tuna and the chicken.
Tuna packets?
Chicken,
and the
tuna,
chicken. Yeah.
And then protein bars.
Yeah.
We ate so many protein bars.
Yeah.
I was so sick of those. The Cliff Bar ones. Because they came out of big boxes.
Yeah, I still don't really... I can eat them, but I really don't enjoy them anymore.
I never really enjoyed them to begin with, but especially not after like waking up. You wake up out of a tent, and then you're just sitting around on like some wet ass log, just like mowing down on some dry protein bar first thing in the morning. Like,
and sometimes you didn't have any water, like to start off, because you're like, I don't want to walk all the way down when there's a water source like less than a mile away. But I already drank all my water at night, so
I would do the old bite off a hunk of the protein bar, and then I would just take a big drink of water to like hydrate the dry, nasty goo of protein bars.
Yeah, sometimes I would dip the protein bar in like peanut butter.
Oh yeah,
and do
peanut butter's gold out there.
It really is.
Have enough.
Yeah, and I think you told us that before we left, but you didn't realize it until you're out there, and like that's like
you could eat a jar a day.
That's the snack, you know.
Easily.
Just like take your
in
spoon, dip everything that you have in it, basically.
So, did you guys actually stay together like the whole trail, or did you ever split up at all, or was it like just kind of like hung out the whole time?
No, we stayed together the whole time,
the entire time. Yeah,
and it's funny because
like we didn't hike 10 feet from each other the entire time, but like we were within the mile of one another. Like
10, 15 minutes apart, maybe.
We would always end up at the campsite.
Like, or we'd always tell each other like, hey, we're gonna stop at this shelter, or one of us would stop and be like, hey, do you want to stop here and like get a snack or take a break? Yeah, let's stop here. But people were always amazed when we were like, yeah, this is we're buddies and we're hiking the Appalachian Trail. They're like, you're doing the whole thing?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're doing the whole thing. Like,
and then
we came out here together. Like, we're planning on doing this. Like,
a lot of the people were shocked that we came out here together and like we continued hiking the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, because we met several people that didn't end up.
They broke apart.
Yeah.
Well, statistically, it's like improbable that you guys would actually do the whole thing together. Like by the numbers, because a lot of people, like how many? It's the numbers of people who actually start and finish are just like insanely like separated.
Yeah.
Like even though there's a lot of people that actually do the trail or claim to, there is a lot like 90% of the people that start don't finish, I would guess. I don't know the statistic anymore. I used to know all that stuff.
I thought it was 80-20.
Yeah, like there's not many people finishing it. It's like a couple thousand a year.
And then it's like 3% for people that start it together. Like, and you're one of them. Like, you're part of that too.
That's even crazier. That like my wife and I did it. She's not much of the podcasting type, so she doesn't do these things with me. But yeah, we finished together. And like it's crazy that we're all from the same place, like Toledo.
Yeah.
Weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, that we had all lived in the same place.
Yeah, where there's no mountains.
We found each other.
Mountains.
Zero mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, found that out the hard way too.
Yeah.
Did you guys get together with like what they call your little bubble or your little clique? Did you guys have like a group of friends?
We had a
Yeah, we
tramley
did.
until like Damascus.
Really?
Yeah.
They
A
just-
trail family. Tramley.
Yeah.
Tramley.
For those of you that are not informed.
Hiking
I'd
illiterate.
say like Roanoke or like after like McAfee's Knob. Like that's when the tramley really broke apart.
Yeah. Yeah. It was in Virginia.
I feel like that's when a lot of people start to get jaded and start falling off too. Like
It was
around that.
Yeah.
Like they just start going home. Like I'd hiked with people for the whole trails that just like by the time they got to Virginia just collapsed. They were just done. Like they couldn't take it anymore. It's just like, but you already are this far. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
And you wonder about what was it called? The Virginia Blues.
oh.
Like, you know.
I went into it with the mindset that was bullshit. And I just kept telling myself that. I just like, I was like, I'm not going to accept it.
Yeah, I kind of did too.
I refuse to let myself accept it.
I did too, and then it was like after like Maryland, after you hit all those states, and I'm like, I totally had the Virginia blues. Like,
yeah. I think it was like you're saying, it was in like retrospect.
Yeah,
it wasn't like something like you were like, man, this. Like,
but I was very
Virginia.
thankful to be done with Virginia. Like,
Oh,
and then as soon as you hit those states, like you feel like you're doing so much. Like,
Remember how happy we were when we hit West Virginia?
Yeah.
I was just dancing.
Isn't West Virginia, there's just like a sign in the middle of the woods? It's
Yeah.
just like no
Yeah.
big, it's just
Yeah.
like West Virginia. I think I have a picture somewhere. It's just the most uneventful
And
sign.
we
but you're
put
like,
country roads when we hit it. We're like, West Virginia.
you just like turn a
Take me
corner and it's
home.
just like up a hill. You're like, or up a climb. You're just like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, we're
Yep.
done.
Yeah.
That's it.
So my favorite memory, large scale of the trail, was everyone always said, oh, this part's pretty flat coming up. It's so full of shit. Every part, it was not a flat part on the trail,
Yeah,
except
right.
for there was like a mile in Pennsylvania. I remember being like, oh yeah, this is like a cornfield. But other than
Yes,
that,
yeah,
and then like a
yeah.
little bit at the end,
Yeah.
it was like
Like
just
before-
up, down,
Yeah.
up, down.
Before you get to like Pennsylvania, like early on Pennsylvania, before you get to the Lehigh Gap, before it becomes like rocky, like you're like, oh yeah. And then Vermont, like early on Vermont, I thought that was pretty.
Vermont was pretty laid back.
It was pretty. It was pretty
They
nice.
did. It was pretty laid back, and then it also was like getting you ready a little bit.
For the hell to come.
Yeah, for the
and
north.
I did not believe the whites. Like I'm like, the whites can't be this hard. Like I'm in the best shape of my life.
that was always the thing,
You know?
though. It was always like the next part,
Yeah.
and like you weren't even like a quarter through the part you were in, and somebody was like talking about the next part already. you know?
I always thought that was funny because I was like, how the hell do you know?
Right.
Like, you're
Yeah,
with
yeah,
me
yeah.
right now.
Would you read it in a book?
Yeah,
Like, how do you
like-
know? You didn't do it yet.
Oh, this next part coming up is nasty. I'm like, we're literally hiking at the same point in the trail at the same
Right.
time. I'm just naturally like a skeptical person of everything. So I was always like they'd come by and say that, and my group would be like, oh, what are we going to do? I'm like, guys, that guy's here too. He
Yeah.
hasn't been there. What the hell does he know? Like, screw that guy.
Yeah.
So
I remember you said that to us before we left too. He's just like, don't listen to too many people.
yeah,
Like,
don't even
just-
listen to me. I don't
Just do, yeah. That's what you said too. You said don't even
did.
listen to me. That's exactly what you said.
But as you're going through a shakedown of
Yeah.
our packs, don't
like,
listen.
what
to
do
me.
I know? You
Yeah.
know, like, why am I here?
Well, it's such a personal experience. Like, I've had a long time to reflect on all this shit. So it's like, one guy does it in a summer. One guy does it over 10 years.
I respect those people a lot more.
I
Like,
always said when I was done, the people that have like come to the presentations and talked to me about it, they come up to me and they're like, I always admire you through hikers. You guys did this whole thing. I've been doing a section like 20 miles, 30 miles a year. I'm like, you're having a much better experience than I did. I guarantee it, because you're not afraid to stop and look at shit.
True.
I was like,
Yeah.
go, go, go. Oh, this is a beautiful view. Go, go, go.
Right,
You
like-
feel this pressure the whole time. Like you're racing against the weather, essentially, like
Weather,
winter.
yeah, time.
you more than us. Like,
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
yeah. You started way late.
But you guys hiked it faster, so.
Yeah, but
That's crazy to think about.
But I mean, like, your story is a little bit different as far as because your wife got trench foot, didn't she?
Yeah, it got a trench foot that got infected and became like a cellulitis infection. Her
Wow.
foot was like eating itself.
Which is insane.
It was disgusting.
And she finished.
She finished it. She's tough.
And
So I
that's
don't mess
that's
with
why
her.
you married her.
I don't mess with her.
Yeah.
She says, she's like, go mow the lawn. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Like, I'm not playing that game. No, she's tough, man.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I had an injury on the trail, and it wasn't as bad. It wasn't
came
as
at the
bad.
right time, though.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as trench foot, but so I fell, and I don't know if I ever told you that or you ever saw it when we kind of talked about it. But
I don't think I've heard this story. No.
So we were in New York, and
Yeah.
there's a certain rock formation in New York called the Lemon Squeezer.
I remember that.
You remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I surely do.
So we're just having.
The lemon squeezer is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
it's-
was.
It's the pure, straight up rock face that
Right afterwards.
Right afterwards. Yeah.
I remember that one too.
And there was even a side trail to go around it, but it wasn't the Appalachian Trail, which
been there.
like that happens. Yeah. Then that happens. And if you're trying to be like a purist, whatever. So one of our friends, cause at the time we caught up with some people we had met before. And so it was like a short-term tramily. It was another tramily.
I like that tramily better. Not gonna lie.
Ooh.
But we were.
Now that's public information.
But we were outsiders.
Yeah, we were the outsiders in that group.
But they welcomed us.
They were great.
nonetheless.
So our friend Duke, he had just like just powered up this thing, went right over. And I think I was the next. No, we helped a girl up.
Yeah,
Stoic. We helped a girl named Stoic up. That was her trail name. And then I was like, I can do this. So I'm just like, got my pack on and everything. I'm trying to go up and over this rock face. And I went up the wrong spot, but I had gotten to the top of it with my hands. And I was expecting there'd be something up there to hold on to. Nope. There was nothing. It was gravel. Mm-hmm. And my hands had nothing. And my foot was like in a crack in this rock because that's how I had gotten up to that point.
Oh, dude.
So my hands are slipping.
Oh, no. I don't want to hear this.
And so there's like four or five hikers, including Jim. He was below us. And I was probably up 8 foot.
Yeah, and we just let you fall.
And I said, well, I'm falling. And sure enough, so I fall, foot twists. You know, coming out of this crack in this rock.
This hurts my soul.
And I landed on my back. And there are boulders like all around this big rock we're trying to get over.
Boulders like coming up.
I specifically remember this climb because it's so sketchy.
Yeah, and there's like nothing there. And
it's in New York, which is like the worst marked section of the trail in my opinion.
Yeah.
Terrible. Sorry, New York.
And the water there. Water in New York.
The water was,
and there was none when we were there. It was a drought. Yeah. There was no water.
Yeah.
They were carrying like 4 liters at a time because there was none.
Yeah, we got lucky because at road crossings, which there are a lot.
Yes.
They place like water jugs, but
we had a couple of those.
Somebody.
Anyways, back to
there's a sweet trail angel
fall.
out there. So I fell on my back, and I'm in a little bit of shock at the time because I'm like, am I okay? Like, what just happened? Like, I just landed on my back. Can I move?
You almost cracked your head open if it wasn't for your pack.
And that's what,
oh my gosh,
everyone that saw me fall, because they were down there, and they were like, and my pack saved my life. Like, I'm convinced of it to this day. My pack saved me. Like, it cushioned my spine.
Is it like hanging on your wall? As a member?
No, I had to send it back.
Oh, nice.
Because they sent me a new one because by the end of the trail,
faithful you are to Deuter.
I know. Yeah, it was a Deuter pack. I'm not getting paid to say that.
Deuter,
by the way.
It's a weird word.
Yeah. I also had a Deuter pack that lasted me the entire way.
Yeah, but I will say,
you didn't fall on yours though, and almost die.
That's not the reason why you had to.
It was sketchy. It was sketchy, and because so because I fell and. Then after I realized like my back was okay, my neck, because that's what my first concern was.
Well, you have medical background, so
I didn't like to tell anyone that.
Your trail name was Doc. Like,
well, yeah, it was just ironic, but because I'm not a doc, but I was scared, and then I figured out like my ankles hurts, and then it started to swell, and I think from that point, because right afterwards, I got right up and I got up and over that thing because I was like, I'm not going to let this stop me.
Yeah.
So I went a different route. Somebody else went ahead of me because I was still like, what is life? Like, I'm figuring it out. And then I climbed up the same area, made it over that thing, hiked, I think, 3.5 miles or so, very slowly.
You hiked the first mile really fast, and then like I caught up to you, and I'm like, this is not good. Like,
no,
because you were like,
it started to swell.
It started to swell, and then you were like kind of like babying it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not gonna end well.
And so, I mean, in case you didn't know, like if you ever sprained your ankle or something like that, and you want to keep walking on it, you don't take your shoe off.
No.
So
no.
So my shoe had come off because I fell out of the crack in the rock, but I put it right back on and I walked on it, right? Which you probably shouldn't do, but there was no other choice. Like, we were out in the woods.
Yeah, we had 3 miles into the road crossing.
3 miles to the road crossing. I was like, I got to walk. And so I did.
Well, it's funny because I have exactly the same story. Like that
really?
Same exact thing happened to me, but we weren't hiking up anything. It was through Pennsylvania, and the trail was very like when people say Pennsylvania is rocky, like the whole trail is rocky. It's literally made of mountains, but like the trail itself
everything
has
after Pennsylvania is the same as Pennsylvania.
It's just it's like the trail is uneven because there's a lot of rocks coming up out of the trail.
Yes.
And so, my ankle, I've rolled it in the past a few times when I was younger. So the ankle that rolled, my right ankle, has always been kind of weaker. And I was wearing high top boots and everything. It wasn't like I was wearing tennis shoes. And I think a lot of people equate high top boots with ankle protection, which isn't true at all as far as I know. Like, actually, kind of like babies your ankles a little bit. But
Yeah.
I was walking, and some guy, like, there's just random people out there on the trail angels. They'll give you stuff, and this guy just happened to be giving out beer, and we're like, hell yeah! So we stop. We have like 2 beers each. We start hiking again.
I remember the story.
Yeah, and I'm going, and we're like a quarter mile from where we're camping tonight.
Mm-hmm.
All of our friends are with us on the trail. I literally take a step, hear a crunch, my ankle turns sideways. It's like, it's never crunched like that before, and like fall over. Immediately get back up. I was like, I gotta make it to camp, and I just tear ass down the trail to camp. Like before, I'm like, this is gonna hurt really bad.
Yeah.
So I get up, just tearing ass on the trail. We get to camp. Take my boot off, lay my foot up. Everybody like stacked their backpacks on top of each other in the shelter. And this particular shelter happened to be huge. Like, it was a massive shelter. It was very crazy. It's like a house. So I'm laying there. I'm like, I'm so screwed. And I don't know if you had a similar thought when that happened to you. Like, were you like, this could be it? Like, this could send me home? Because I was terrified. Because it hurt.
Yeah, I was too.
You got really lucky because I had a wedding to go to.
Yeah.
And so I had to come back to Ohio.
Which had been planned the entire trip.
The entire trip.
He was coming back for the wedding.
So my dad picked us up, but we got to the road, and then we hiked less than a half mile to like this water resort. It had like a beach with like.
Is that
a
where you
lake.
were planning to get picked up like originally?
No, we planned on. This is like right before.
Yeah.
What is it? Black Bear Mountain or something like that. Bear Mountain in New York.
Yeah.
And
a very touristy part of New York.
Like right before, like on the
touristy
outskirts of the city, I think.
Yeah, like this zoo. The zoo that you walk through. Like it was right before that.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And and so like we hike to like this recreation area, and like you're not supposed to camp, but we like hung out underneath this like pavilion with pop machines, and like we just cowboy camped right there.
We slept,
and then that's where
next to the pop machines that night under a shelter. And I was like, if the security or cops or anyone comes, I'm just gonna say I'm injured, you know. And then like, what are you gonna do? Like, you gonna send me out to the woods? Like, I'm hurt. Yeah. So I wasn't too worried.
No one came, and then we had part of our fake tramley. One of their
fake tramley.
Yeah, like we weren't really.
I'm gonna find them and
like,
show them this.
Like we were the cousins of the tramley, I guess.
Yeah.
The
We're the cousin Eddies.
Yeah,
of the family. I guess
definitely the Eddies.
I don't know.
But anyways, like one of them hiked ahead because he has family in like New Jersey area. So he just happens to be picking his mom up. So he picks us up as well.
Yeah.
And then we stay at like I forget their names. His like aunt and uncle, which
Marie.
Yeah, very Italian names.
New York, New Jersey has quite a few Italian people.
But anyways, extremely nice people.
Super sweet
and
people.
so we stayed at their house, showered, everything, until like my dad picked us up in the afternoon. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Like they fed
Talk about
us.
good timing.
Well, yeah, it was crazy because we literally took 1 day off our original goal. We were supposed to do one more day of hiking, and that would have put us where we wanted to be. So we lost a day there, but
it's not bad.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't bad. And I forget how many days it was that I recuperated with,
It was like
with
5
my
days.
friend. It was 5 days.
Like I took like that entire weekend.
Yeah.
And then we got back on the trail
Monday?
like Monday.
Yeah. So,
So it was like a Thursday.
So my friend in Pennsylvania, Pastor Dave, he let me stay with him, and like I like called him that day. I was like, hey, like I injured myself, and just to give you like a heads up. And he's like, okay. But so went to Pennsylvania. He let me recuperate at his place, and like I was icing my ankle and everything, and like we had made a plan that he was going to take me to Philadelphia while I was there, just because we could. And we ended up going. We still went, and like I had a bum ankle and still had a good time. Got to see the Rocky statue in Philly.
Nice.
So that was sweet. Didn't get to see Rocky himself, which sometimes he goes there.
Not many people do.
Yeah, but
you got lucky then.
I was super
awesome.
lucky, and
The trail will provide.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
The maxim rings true. I don't know why.
Yes.
It just happens. There's a lot of sweet people out there.
A lot of really good people, a lot of good trail angels. And I wanted to start something new called like Trail Saints or Saints of the Trail or something like that.
Okay, that's too much.
Where you follow them around and
No, not like that.
watch them while they're sleeping.
It's called a ghost.
Like people
We'll haunt you.
People that had like maybe hiked the trail before and they really go out of their way to do like as much good as they can for other people.
A lot of really good people.
Yeah. And so what was his name? Next Step and what was Next Step and his wife, right?
His wife, yeah.
Yeah, well, anyways, this guy, his trail name was Next Step. And he and his wife, so his wife had like a back injury from the trail. Like it had progressively gotten like worse while she was out there. And so she had to come off the trail a couple of times and he kept hiking.
And she would just follow him around.
And she would follow him,
like, a car and stuff like that.
And like pick him up at certain points and like, all right, honey, let's go and we'll stay in like a hotel tonight or like Airbnb or whatever it was. She would like make those accommodations. So it like made it nice. And one of the times we were hiking with him and his wife, like,
he's like a retired Air Force general.
Yeah.
And, like he didn't go into
Secret
detail.
ops.
He said, he's like, oh, I worked at the Pentagon.
Yeah, he worked at the Pentagon.
Like, that's all he could tell us.
You might not be able to post this because we just said that.
I mean, nobody's going to listen to it anyway, so I'm
Not from
too
the
concerned.
Pentagon, probably.
Yeah. Well, they're already
unless we kept saying it.
They're
already
listening right now on our phones in our pocket.
that's true.
Yeah. We won't go full Joe Rogan here and start getting the conspiracy.
Pentagon.
Hey, Pentagon, if you can help promote this, please do your best.
Yeah, put it on your webpage, guys.
Pentagon.com, please.
But so the point of that story was that they were going out of their way and they like did like really nice stuff for us. They like bought us dinner at this Italian restaurant one time and like his wife would show up and like have like cold drinks for us. And so I was like,
and he
you
would,
guys
like,
are
text,
trail
like,
saints.
the exact drinks that we like our favorite
Yeah,
go-to.
he would even ask us like, what do you guys like to drink? I'm like, Dr. Pepper, sweet tea, whatever. And
Miller Lite.
Yeah. A 40. But she was like there and like, here's your cold drinks. And it's just like, when you come off the trail, I mean, that's like one of the greatest things ever.
Yeah.
Like when you're towards the end of the day and somebody's like, hey, do you need something cold to drink? Yes, I do. And you don't even care what it is.
You really don't.
You would drink anything that's cold.
Yeah, people, anytime they gave us anything, like if you're in Ohio and someone gives you something off the street, you're always like, I don't know about that. But like on the trail, it's like, hell yeah.
Yes,
Let's take
please.
your donuts and your half-eaten sandwich. I'll totally take that right now.
Yeah. I
mean, I was blown away by the amount of people that would just do stuff for you.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even like I'm not the kind of person that would ask for help if I could really help it, but they would just go out of their way to just make you help you out.
Like whether it's like hitching a ride and then you're like, oh, you need to go to the grocery store as well. Like, I'll stop here and then take you to the hotel or like the hostel or wherever we're going for the night. Like, they would wait on us to go shopping.
Well, it was awesome. When Christina, her foot got all infected like that, we had to hitchhike to the hospital, man. Have you ever had to hitchhike to a hospital? We were actually trying to find a shuttle, but they were all closed for the season. We were there so late. It was in Gorham, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, was that where the Chinese buffet is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We stayed at the hotel next to that Chinese buffet.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
And
the Chinese buffet.
Yeah, the Chinese
buffet's
buffet.
amazing.
Wonderful people.
You never find another or anything better on the trail than a Chinese buffet. But like this lady, we were like hitchhiking. We're like, we need to get to this hospital. It's like 20 miles away. And her and her mom, it was like this lady and her mom picked us up and we're like, yeah, we got to go to the hospital. They're like, okay. Like, yeah, we'll find a way back. To like, here's my phone number. We'll bring you back. I was like, we'll pay you. They're like, no. And then they took us to Walmart to get a prescription. It was crazy. It was like our personal shuttle lady for like 3 days.
That's awesome.
Nobody would do
crazy.
that. Like normally.
No, they wouldn't, because everyone's so skeptical.
Yeah.
Of other people, especially if you smelled and looked the way that we did. Yeah.
I don't know how people let us in their cars.
I know. They're angels. They truly are angels.
It's amazing. You don't realize how bad you smell when you're out there. It's kind of funny because you're like, oh, ha, ha, we smell bad. But like, I've smelled people that have smelled like that after, and I'm like, dear God.
Yeah.
Why would you let me in your car?
Or like
Don't trap this in a room.
It's like pouring down rain and we're hitching like to go into town and they still pick us up like
wet dogs.
yeah. Worse than wet dogs.
Worse. Yeah, worse. It's worse than wet dog.
We just watched Dumb and Dumber the other night. It's like, hitchhikers, pick them up. Just throw them in the car.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
man. I was completely blown away by like the kindness and generosity of people. And like, you don't get that too much around here.
You forget about it.
Yeah, you forget about it. You
Yeah.
become just back to normal after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any like crazy run-ins with like psychos in the woods?
Like the first one, like the first hitchhiking experience that we had. So we ended up going to, it was like Woody Gap.
Okay. Like right in the beginning?
Right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just like, wind blowing us sideways. Like it was completely ridiculous. And we end up hiking and we get to Woody Gap and we're still supposed to hike like 3 more miles and it's almost dusk. Like it was just like completely cold weather, like just blowing right through any wind protection that we have. And this guy, he's like, $5 and I'll take you into this town.
That's
and we're like, sure, let's do it. He puts us like in this S10 pickup and he takes us to this gas station that we found out that he owns. And we just paid $5 to go like a mile. Yeah. Which is like,
sounds like he's running a good scam there.
Yeah, it gets better. So like this gas station has a hostel above it, which is just like bunk beds. And like we have to pay, I think it's like $20, which isn't bad.
Pretty normal.
Yeah, pretty normal. But we also had to provide our driver's license, a social security, like
that's weird.
That we gave like a fake number to.
Oh
but
yeah,
like our driver's license, we couldn't fake. Like no, and they
They
like,
photocopied
They
them.
scanned them in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it scanned our driver's license.
yeah,
Ziz.
yeah. And then we weren't
creepy.
And then we
It's
weren't
weird,
allowed to have.
right?
And then we weren't allowed to have like beer, like in the hostel.
What was it?
Like-
What was it called? Wasn't it like Wolf's Den or something like that?
I don't know.
I kind of want to blow them up because it was just weird. And I hope that they don't do that anymore. They probably do.
It was like literally the sketchiest thing, and that was like the first one that we came across.
I would get really upset on the trail when you'd get to these hostels and they were like had all these crazy rules. I'm like, dude, I'm an adult. Like, I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Like, please don't tell me what I'm allowed to do. Like, I'm paying you to be here. Like, maybe that's just me as like an angry Ohioan. But I was seriously like it wasn't like it was the concept behind it. Like, I'm like if you go to a hotel, you're not going to tell me what not to do. Like, it's a hotel. Like,
Right.
obviously,
It's like an understood.
yeah, like don't break the windows. I get that. Like don't be an asshole. But like if like telling me like I can't. Oh, everybody's got to do this and that, and you can't bring beer in here. And like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm legally allowed to do whatever I want. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I might just be a jaded ass. But that shit would piss
No,
me off because like I'm paying you to stay here.
Like
Yeah,
I
like-
understood those rules in the beginning because of how much people, like the volume of people that they were going in and out,
Yeah.
like constantly. But like towards the end, like the rules subsided substantially. Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah. That's true.
Did
Yeah.
you guys hit trail days at all?
we did.
We did.
What was
We
that-
actually
was
we
it
went
like?
back. We went back in time. No, not back in time.
Was it
but
crazy? I've never been there.
So our buddy Joe, once again, like he was on spring break at the time, and he drove down and he picked us up, and we were like, Joe, do you want to drive us to trail days? You know, like come hang out. You know, anyone can go. And he's like, yeah, that sounds good. And so he drove down and he stayed with us for a couple of days, and we went to trail days for a day and a half, roughly. Was it like a full day?
It was
and a
like
half day?
2 nights and like a day, so entire day and a half. Yeah.
Just wild
I've
stuff.
only seen pictures, and the only story I know from that is people. We were with like the tail end of the thru hikers.
Yeah.
Okay. Like we're at we're like the stragglers who started early that never made it past like the beginning. And like the only story I heard about trail days was 2 dudes that we ended up hiking with for a while got arrested for drug charges for selling drugs at trail days. I was like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Well,
they're like, yeah, we're really behind on the trail because we had to go to court. I was like, oh, cool. Well, no, they were actually really cool guys. I'm not trying to talk shit about them. That's the only story I have.
Yeah. I mean,
it is just one giant party though.
it's
like,
a giant party, and
and
I
you
don't
get
know if they
fed
say
constantly. Like by other people, like trail angels come there just to feed you, really.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
I don't know if this is a thing, but I would say that what happens in the woods stays in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because where you camp for trail days, it's like all around a park. And
Like a baseball diamond park.
it's like a couple
a
baseball
community
diamonds.
park.
And so the kind of quiet area,
And they like bring in cops, like
Oh yeah.
the quiet
like,
area is like
to
in the
police.
field, in the outfield type thing. And then in the woods, it's like anything's game. It is crazy. It's like Woodstock. I'm assuming if you know
It's
the
like
pictures and videos of
very
Woodstock
small
would be
one,
true. Yeah, except much smaller, but it's
And
it's
for
crazy.
the few that are listening that don't know about trail days, it is
Yeah.
in Damascus. It's normally around like mid-May, probably, mid-May.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. Like a bunch of like retailers come and go there, and then just hand out free stuff.
Did you guys get any free stuff?
Like Gregory was big at handing out free stuff.
We got
Osprey
like a
had
free
like raffles,
little
and-
day packs and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I mean, nothing more than like string packs type
Dorter
things.
gave us shirts.
Shirts. Yeah, we did get some free
for,
shirts.
like hiking with a pack.
Gregory gave us shirts, and
Yeah.
we didn't win any like big substantial stuff because
Yeah.
they just gave it thousands and thousands worth of gear.
What's it called? Backpacking magazine? Or
Yeah, it's like
Backpacker
Backpacker.
magazine?
Yeah,
Yeah, just
they
a
were
magazine.
there, and like the amount of stuff that they were giving away, because it wasn't just one brand. You know, it was
Yeah.
like all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff.
They're like the go-to. That's like the
So it was cool.
industry standard.
They
of
gave
pack.
away like entire like starter packs to go hike.
Like outfits,
like,
basically.
yeah.
They're gonna fit you. Like, hey, you want to start hiking? Here you go. And it's, I mean, for a through hiker,
like pack cooking wear.
It's like it's awesome that you-
water filtration
Yeah.
systems. Like
Yeah.
they gave it out
the whole
like,
nine.
So,
But
very
like
cool.
when you're there, it's like awesome. Like we got this stuff. And it's like, what do you do with it? You know, you got to go to the post office, and you're either gonna keep some of it, or you're gonna ship your old stuff home. Whatever.
Did you ditch anything
Yeah.
gear-wise?
Hang on, real quick. I just want to brag just for a quick second.
Okay, here we go.
We were the cornhole champions.
Oh yeah.
hell yes.
Yeah. Here's
Ohio.
oh my gosh, I still have this little thing.
Show it to the camera for the people that are watching this. They got the
I wish I
cornhole
could.
award.
I wish I could read it.
And for those of you who don't know what cornhole is,
Yeah, if you don't know what cornhole is, you're not from the Midwest.
Just stop
I
listening.
guess.
Stop listening.
it's not what it sounds like.
But this little thing is from the church. That little trinket is from the church that we won the cornhole tournament. And it essentially says we're like praying for you. But
Fair enough.
I forget what they're called.
You probably needed
I
it.
wish. Yeah. I mean, everyone needs a couple prayers if you're doing the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
Unity Church?
Unity to praying.
I don't.
Yeah, that church did like a pancake brunch every day.
Yeah.
Like just big
They
breakfast.
were right next to
Like,
the field where we were camping.
unlimited supply
Yeah.
of all you can eat pancakes and bacon. Like
Dude,
the entire trail days.
I want that
like,
right now.
It was
Yeah.
perfect.
It was dope. But they, I remember, and you'll remember this, Jim, when I saw that they had a cornhole tournament, because I knew that there was going to be a cornhole tournament, I was like, Jim, we're coming back, because we had already passed through Damascus, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I knew that there was going to be a cornhole tournament, because we stayed at one night at Woodchuck's Hostel in Damascus, and he loves to play cornhole. If you've ever, did you ever meet Woodchuck? Did you stay there when you were in Damascus?
We stayed at some hostel, but I don't remember which one it was.
Okay. There's so many
It's been
there.
It was like $5 a night. It was like a very cheap
Oh,
hostel.
was it called the Broken Fiddle
Yeah.
I don't know.
or something?
Yeah, that was
It literally had
That
wooden
one
bunks.
was- Well, that one did.
Just nothing on them. It was just wooden platforms.
Yeah.
that
was like-
sounds like
It sounds like that
Broken
place.
That's
yeah.
the only place on the whole trail where I popped my sleeping pad. In the hostel.
We both did that actually.
I did it and couldn't find the hole, so
Yeah.
I had to like lay on a deflated sleeping bag like all through May.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he stuck it out. Right?
I
You
would just
stuck it
like
out with
wake up
that.
in the middle of the night
Blow it
and
back
blow it back up. It was the smallest leak. I tried
Couldn't
the
find it.
bathtub trick.
Yeah, the bathtub.
Everything.
We did both of ours popped on the trail, and
Yeah.
I fixed it. I did the bathtub trick with a bunch of soap, found the leaks. Like there's nothing to do when you're out there. Like when you're in the hotels or hostels or whatever, you just like
Right.
watch TV, eat food, or like sleep because
Yeah.
you need it real hard. I was like anal about finding these holes in the mats because I was like, I'm not buying another $200 sleeping pad. This is insane.
Yeah.
I found them and we still use them. I still have my
What brand?
Thermarest, the
Thermarest.
Neo Air.
Okay.
I still have the crunchy one.
thick one. Yeah.
I was that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sorry for it. If I woke anybody up, you're going to have to deal with it.
I was too tired to complain about sleeping.
I feel like my Sea to Summit was kind of loud.
It was.
They're big plastic
But
things.
I roll around a lot.
But everyone was. Everybody.
Oh, yeah. There really wasn't like a quiet sleeping pad.
Those pads.
Except the ground, if you're just sleeping on that.
There were those people that slept on those like just Thermarest like flat accordion things.
Like
I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a big giant sissy, but I was like, there's no way in hell.
I'll be a sissy too because no.
I remember
It's
telling you
not
guys, like,
worth
if you're
it.
going to invest in one thing, get a sweet sleeping pad.
Yes.
Because, like, that's your butter, or bread and butter. Like,
Honestly,
Yeah.
I paid like $25 for mine, and it lasted nearly the entire way. Like,
I think that's insane.
and it was durable.
Mine was like $125.
It was durable, and I bought another one when I got back just because I'm like, I can't find this hole. I'm just gonna throw it away. It lasted me a good while, and
I'm not
bought the same exact one.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge gear fanatic because, like, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, actually. Like, it's essentially all the same stuff. It's just how they market it is a little different. So, like, that's kind of a proven point right there. Like, I mean, I buy the nice stuff because when I go, I want it to last. But, like, you don't need to. Like, did you guys have, like, all high-end stuff?
No,
not at all. I think I like part of my research was like just YouTube videos, and like this one guy posted like the low cost alternatives, and I think I bought the majority of the low cost stuff, and it lasted me the entire way. I was perfectly happy with that stuff too. Like,
Well, and
even the name brand stuff though, like and I know it's because my sleeping bag wasn't rated for the temperatures that we met at the beginning.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that cold. I just wasn't. I was like, oh, we're going down to Georgia. It's going to be it's going to be pretty good. No,
was not expecting snow.
March.
That was probably the biggest mistake.
March in
we
Georgia was miserable. But then they were like, oh, this is some of the worst weather we've always had. But I think we've all talked about that. And I feel like they say that like every year. Yeah.
But I've kind of lost my interest in gear. Like Christina and I went to REI a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Because I needed a new coat because, I mean, all my stuff's kind of worn out. And I walked through the aisles and I was like, I don't want any of this crap. Like, I already have, like, backpacking stuff lasts a long time.
It really does.
lasts. And, like, the technology keeps coming out with lighter packs and this and that. But, like, I hiked with the Osprey Exos, which is, like, a lighter one. And then, there's still people out there. Like, I made the mistake of writing a few articles for the trek after I did the trail, and people just are like, "Are you a fucking idiot? Like, well, you don't know shit." I'm like, "It's a backpack, dude. Chill out. Like, you call that ultra light, you idiot?" Like,
people get weird about that.
I don't care about that.
Yeah,
like,
ultralighters are on a completely different level.
More power to you.
Yeah.
But
like they need to meet our friend Jeremy. Like, the guy that we met on the trail, like he was from Ohio.
Dude's a freak,
but he would sleep on
most
this,
people
like,
from Ohio are.
he had this like Thermarest sleeping pad that was, I don't know, half my body length, like, and he would just sleep on that.
Didn't even cover the length of his body, and he wasn't as tall as we are.
No,
he wasn't. He didn't hit 6 foot.
No, but like he'd slept on half. I think his entire pack weighed like 5 pounds. Like,
it looked like a school backpack.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and
I'm not talking shit on ultralighters. Like, if you can handle that, like, sweet, dude. But, like, I don't live like that at home, and I'm not gonna kill myself. Like, I don't know. I actually wrote an article about there, like, it's a versus. Like, you either choose to be ultralight and that's your thing, or you just are a normal. The average backpacker that does the Appalachian Trail does not ultralight, like, in that sense of, like, sub, like, 20-pound fully loaded pack or whatever the standard is for, like, the average person just uses whatever gear. Like, it's the way I like to talk about it, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, is, like, you're literally just carrying shit in a bag and walking. Like, it's not...
Yeah.
Like, why does it have to be so, like, niched, like, ultra, like, I get the marketing side of it, and I get the, like, it's less stress on your knees and this and all that, but, like, not everybody can do that. Not
Yeah,
everybody
right.
wants to do that.
Like,
My goal is to finish the trail, not to cry about my gear.
Yeah, we
you know?
met Jeremy, who like his pack weighed like 20 pounds, and then we met this guy named Duke, and his pack literally weighed like 70 pounds every time.
Hefty.
And hefty. Like he had like a small little chair that you opened up and stuff like that.
It was
like,
hilarious. It was
he
like
was
almost like
comfortable,
More
but
power
everybody
to him.
was jealous of that chair when we got to the
Yeah.
Oh,
campsite.
yeah.
Like everybody was jealous.
he was
Like,
almost like a junker almost. It'd be like
Oh,
he'd
yeah.
find stuff
He would
and it was
go
like,
into
oh,
hiker
throw it in the
boxes.
pack. Like we're taking it.
hiker boxes. Ooh, I could use this.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think that's how he found the chair.
Yeah.
I think somebody was like, "Why did I bring a chair?" And Duke was like, "I'm getting a chair."
Yeah.
you know, he was super pumped.
Did you
super
guys,
pumped.
you guys looked like your packs are probably average, what, like 35, 40 pounds ish?
At the
like,
beginning,
At the beginning, once I maintained a steady amount of trail mix, like it was like it was like
I had to dump some of
probably
that
around
out
like
the side.
50 pounds just because of like the warm weather stuff, and then towards the end it got to like 30 to 40.
30 to 40.
I'd say mine averaged about 30, 35. And the colder, like we got in the cold stuff at the end, and it went up to about 40.
Yeah.
Because I had to get like a down coat for night for sleeping, and then you have like a couple extra layers, like extra thermal. I got like those crazy, like an early Christmas present because
Yeah.
I'm out there, I'm broke. Where at the end, I got
Right.
like crazy heavy fleece line base layers and stuff. But like
Yeah.
that stuff ups the weight. But by that point in the trail, you're like, I don't care. I'll
Yeah,
carry
you're
a truck
good.
on my back.
You're good.
Yeah, you can carry anything towards the
What
end.
was
like
what was some of the most hairy stuff you guys got into out there? Just like memory, like, oh god, this is gonna not turn out good. Besides, almost dying. The one
going
time.
over.
Yeah, well-
what was it? Little hump and big hump.
Yeah, it was
Mountain?
the humps.
Yeah, the humps.
gotta watch
the
those
humps.
humps.
Got us.
with the
So,
main.
My lovely lady
no,
loves.
so this is like Virginia, like by Roan.
It was
and-
that
Oh,
barn.
Mountain.
Hold on, that barn,
Over Mountain Shelter, like
Yeah.
the barn shelter, like
which has since been shut down.
Yeah, because
yeah.
I remember that they're like,
It's
you don't
too
want to stay
dangerous.
there. This was 4 years ago when they said that she shouldn't stay there.
Well, they finally they posted something on Instagram. Did you see that?
yeah,
They
yeah, I saw
posted
that,
and they
yeah.
said like we cannot condone anyone staying here any longer. Like it is shut down. Do not go here. And I don't know. Maybe they barred the doors and everything.
Yeah,
but
so when we got there,
you know
it
there's
was
still dirty
oh, yeah.
hikers sneaking
Nasty,
in there.
dirty
You
hikers.
know it.
yeah, it was a beautiful day, and there was like tons of day hikers because it was the weekend, or dryer sheets, or whatever you want to call them.
like, dude, you could smell them walk by. You're like, these people
could.
smell clean.
Yeah.
They smelled really good.
I have a
Like,
vivid memory of that.
yeah, and anyways,
Mountain Springs.
one of the day hikers dropped their phone in the latrine, and I'm like, I do not want.
I do remember that.
Get out.
Oh yeah,
That's
it was like a
nasty.
nightmare.
Yeah, I'm like, I can put up with a lot of stuff, but I'm not helping that girl.
They recovered it.
Yeah, they
got it out.
She got it out. It was like 4 girls together.
Just take a bath and hand
Lots
sanitizer.
of-
I don't know.
Everybody offered her hand sanitizer. After
It's
that,
disgusting.
but
I
would've made her
super
drink it, like-
disgusting. But anyways, we
Not
woke
sleeping
up.
next to poop phone later.
Yeah, we woke up and it was just like storming. Like it's like an old barn, so like it's like the wood is just like hitting like the
Yeah.
rafters and everything like that. Like the loose boards are just flapping in the wind.
Oh my God.
And like we had a hike. I think we weren't planning on going to town, but then we're going into town. Like,
Yeah.
and so we had to hike over these bald mountains, which are just like mountains with like no,
Yes, okay.
yeah, and with no trees on top. And
Why they're called balds?
yeah, why
They're
look
bald.
up? They're bald. Yeah.
There's no trees.
No cover, no
Clarification.
shelter.
Like
Yes.
a man who is bald.
Yes.
Yes.
Or woman. I don't want to
Or woman.
Or other.
Other genders.
Yeah.
We won't
Siamese
get into
cat.
that.
Yeah.
Well, we won't get into that here. But,
Anyways, and it was sideways rain. I literally at one point I looked down. I'm like, it's got to be hail, and because it was like I was in shorts and just like everything was soaked through, and it was just pelting my legs. And
Yes.
I'm like, it's not hail. I don't see any like
It's
white
rain.
specks. It's just rain.
fast moving.
Yes,
The wind was so strong.
so strong.
Like literally, I remember watching the people in front of me, and you remember the force of the wind. But as soon as like you lifted your leg, your body, the wind would push it, and you'd like where you'd want it to step, you were like 3 4 foot away from like that point because the wind would just push you. It was like
hitting
throwing
shit
you
like that
around.
in Maine. It was terrifying.
That would be.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to hide behind this rock for a couple minutes. I have like a video on my cell phone where it was just like my face, my eyes squinted real hard, and the hood was like,
Yes.
it's terrifying.
Yeah. And couple, like, we were still with our family then, and a couple of them lost their pack covers, and like
pack covers blown away.
just blown away.
Gone forever,
One of the
sorry.
dudes, his name was Coors the Magic Dragon, and
yeah.
like I caught up to
That's
him.
The best trail ever.
Yeah.
I-
He was
really
a good
was.
dude.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. But I caught up to him and I was like, Coors, where's your pack cover? He's like, what do you mean, where's my pack cover? And he's like, starts feeling, he's like, shit, I lost my pack cover. And like the storm, like once we got off the ball and we got down in the woods,
You didn't
it's
think
like
about
you
anything
could finally
else.
breathe
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was scary.
But we had to go over 2 like bald mountains that day just to get to the road.
Yeah.
And it was
That's a bummer that those views were amazing.
Just
I remember
soaked.
those right after that barn. You come up and it's just
Yeah.
like, whoa.
yeah, we couldn't see.
That was one of the
20
worst
feet in front of
storms
us.
I've ever walked through.
Yeah.
And you don't know how lucky you are if you don't have to wear contacts or glasses, because going through storms like that where you're just getting pelted with rain, you cannot see.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
and
lucky. My wife had to wear her glasses.
Same.
yeah, when you go
my
through a
wife,
storm like
but-
that, you really cannot see. And some of those mountains, it's terrifying because you don't know where your foot's going to land, and it's so easy to hurt yourself up there.
Well, we got caught up in a ridge on a thunderstorm. There was nowhere to go. It was just rocky, open, like I could die now.
Yep.
Like you think that your pack has a metal frame in it. You're carrying metal lightning rods in your
that's
hands,
right.
and it's just like, this is not good.
No.
Yeah.
Like I actually think it makes it puts things into perspective for you because nobody deals with that normally.
No.
Like the wilderness danger of being outside doesn't affect most people because they're like, we're in a house or we walk to a car, we go to a
right.
store.
Right.
We're inside a lot.
Right.
And until you've had the fear of God put in you by like a storm that
Yes.
you could literally die. The trail for me was like, it morphed me into a different person because like, until you've been so scared shitless, it's a fear for your life. Like you don't realize how good you have it. Like it's a perspective.
Yeah.
It's like when people talk about like going to Peru and doing ayahuasca or something that like changes their mind. Like the trail is that for me. Like holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the things you see, the things you experience out there that nobody you will probably ever meet again besides other thru hikers or people who've done like Mount Everest, crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like we could talk about this for 5-10 hours straight and people would still not understand what it was like.
No.
There's so many things we can't put into perspective. How do you put into perspective almost dying on a mountain or almost breaking your back or just sitting on a mountaintop and there's a sunset and you're like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
Right.
And I'll probably never see this again.
Yeah.
How do you put that into perspective for people? And that's a daily occurrence. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Every day is something brand new.
What's that next mountaintop? What's up there?
And
That's what keeps you going too.
Like in the beginning, it was like the cold. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be able to like go into my sleeping bag. But my sleep, like I provide my own heat. Like
Yeah.
and it's just crazy. Like to
well, I like to tell
think
people
that we're on our own.
Like I'm no sort of motivational speaker or anything, but I always like to tell people, doing stuff that's hard and makes you feel like shit, like you guys can attest. There's some times out there where it sucks. Like we were talking before the podcast started. How long did it take for your feet to stop hurting after the trail, or if ever, or you still have injuries from that trail that affect us. I blew out my shoulder falling into a rock crevice in Maine, and I'm like, it still hurts. Like
Yeah.
I, probably should go to the doctor for that. but there's stuff that happens out there that's very, very like tough and very hard to overcome. And when you do that at your job, okay, so there's hard situations, you can just be like, nah, I don't want to do this. Or like you have something at home like, oh, that thing I wanted to install, I don't feel like it today.
You can put it off.
Yeah, just like, But when you're like, it's either go over this mountain or stay here and run out of food and die, like that.
Yeah.
That
No,
changes your perspective.
It's true. Yeah.
Do you notice that after it's all been said and done, do you feel more like confident in yourself, or do you feel more like sturdy?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just the idea that I could go somewhere else, or if I wanted to change my job, like I can go do that, you know, like it's not as scary. It's still scary, I guess. I'm not saying like I'm fearless by any means.
But it's doable. It's not,
but it's doable.
It's not impossible.
No,
absolutely.
I'm just talking
because you can make it, or even that.
Well, because like I've noticed, you kind of like, it's like a rebirth in my mind. Like you come out a different person than you were going into it, and I always like tell myself, like, I think back to that moment, like, you know, anytime I doubt something I'm doing, I'm like, you did that though. Like, if you did that, what's like getting another hour at work, or what's like reading through this contract you have to go through, or what's, you know, like putting in an extra hour that you didn't want to do. Like, how many tens of hours did I like hike when I didn't feel like it, or hundreds of hours that I like, I really don't want to be doing right now, but you do it anyway. So I feel like when
the chafe hits,
and
you have to keep walking.
Dear God. Do you guys have a gnarly chafe story?
Oh, I was chafing so hard at the beginning.
In the beginning.
It was terrible.
He called you about something like...
Because I was like, man, I am chafing so bad.
I remember you called me.
Yes.
Vaseline
and it was
lotion.
It was the stupid shorts that I was wearing that I thought were going to be so great, but they just kept riding up.
Tore you up.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, even if somebody says these are the best like under shorts that you can buy, the ones that I ended up hiking in were the ones you can get off of Amazon for like $10, $15 a pair, and they don't ride up. They stay right where they're supposed to, and really no chafing problems after that.
I just wore running shorts with the built-in underwear.
Or people do that a lot.
I did that.
You started to chafe though, didn't you?
And then I started chafe, so I put on like compression shorts, and that helped.
What's the glide sticks?
Oh yeah,
those really help.
I think they're called glide sticks.
They might be.
We were in New York, and me and my friend Lucky, him and I were chafing really bad. Like, just randomly out of the blue, him and I both were like, what the hell is going on? Like, it was just like raw, you know, like the whole package. That's like full pun intended. That thing was like shredded.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was because I'd never chafed up on the trail until that point. And I think what happened was, like, you don't shower and bathe very regularly. And we were in New York. It was 100+ degree weather in the summertime. And, like, I think just the salt from our sweat just kept accumulating, and, like, it was bad. We literally sat at there's some carryout in New York that lets you just try to chill behind their carryout, and we sat there and we went in and bought beer
multiple times.
And
like New York is famous for their delis.
The delis.
Like, we try to hit it every single deli we could.
And they weren't. I mean, we call them delis, but like they were literally gas stations for the most part.
With subs.
But the food in them was amazing.
Amazing.
It was weird.
We literally went to one of those,
Yeah.
and we put beer cans in between our legs and sat there until they got
Ice
warm,
them down.
drank them, and then we went and got more beer, and just like, that's what we did.
Yeah.
And it worked like a charm.
Huh.
We ended up tying bandanas around the inside of our thighs too.
That's what I did. You told me to do that.
It's the only thing I could think of at the time.
Totally forgot that you told me to do that, but I was doing it. And those were, you know, I would tie them really tight too, and they would still fall off.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the best option, but it's what I had at the time. I was like, everybody give me your bandanas.
Yeah.
I'm chafing hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chafe it's something else.
I got it like really bad right before we went to Hanover, and like it was like 110 degree day, and like we ended up like at this like the Wonder Emporium lettering place. And it's just like this trail angel on the side of the road that lets you camp in the backyard.
He was like a truck driver or something for a while.
He did like lettering for like trailers, like special lettering.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And anyways, like he had like this spring in his backyard, and I just like chilled out in there. It was like a pool. It was
natural spring,
icy cold,
it was
and
cool.
It just cured it all. Like it was heaven.
It was really cool. And then we
heaven.
slept in this like little gazebo.
Yeah,
that's what they had in their backyard. What was his name? Mr. Mustache, or it was
Mr. Stash.
Mr. Stash.
I think it's called Mr. Stash one letter in.
I think that was his trail
Emporium.
name though too. I think they just said it's Mr. Stash. Super kind, sweet people. Once again,
You run into them everywhere out there.
it's amazing.
I had one
awesome.
guy just give me $20. He's like, it's awesome that you're doing that. Here's $20. I was like,
Somebody did that to our friend the Spaniard.
Yeah.
I'm not homeless, but thanks.
Yeah.
I'll take it, dude. I'll buy some beer with it. But-
Right.
Yeah. That's what Spaniard did too.
Yeah.
He just bought beer for everyone.
Yeah.
So
because
Spaniard was
can
from Spain. In
Really?
case you didn't catch that
Go figure.
from his
Never
name.
would have really guessed.
Real name Ruben.
yes,
If you ever listen to this, Ruben, we miss you. But
very much.
Please, Ruben, listen to this.
yeah, please,
We're dying.
please.
Oh man. So I want to know what were your like thoughts on the 100-mile wilderness? Because I've heard a lot of different things going into it, and I heard a lot what I would consider bullshit. Because
I didn't think it was that wilderness. Like
No.
we,
It really,
we saw,
I was getting at.
wasn't
we saw this
hyped up.
We saw this older like women's club like hiking back and forth. Like we would always pass each other, like, and that was throughout the 100-mile wilderness.
Yeah.
And then they like hiked Katahdin. Like it was just like prepping, and like as we were coming down Katahdin, they were hiking up it. And they're like, hey,
same
we know
ladies.
you. Like the same ladies,
Yeah,
the
it was
same
cool.
group. And it was like really cool. But we saw them throughout the entire time. And they're like, we're not staying out here. We're just like hiking. So
Well,
they got picked
yeah, they
up
just take
on
them to
like
different
log
areas
roads
on
and
the
stuff
trail.
like that.
there
So
were so many logging roads out there.
I didn't think it was
Yeah.
that secluded.
Yeah, exactly.
We woke up. We're in the 100-mile wilderness, so we stayed at was it Shaw's?
Hostel, yeah.
Shaw's
Yeah.
Hikers Inn or whatever
Yeah.
it is up there in Maine, right before the 100-mile wilderness. Awesome people. Did you guys stay there?
We did not stay
We
at
got
Shaw's.
pancake breakfast from them. We stayed at the boathouse.
Okay.
We stayed
It
like
was-
right on the water.
They were so
was
nice.
crazy.
They I think I really love that place because they like really gave us some good advice, and they're just super nice people. And they had a guitar there, which I just like jammed out on, like while we were waiting, because it was pouring rain. And it was actually like risk of hypothermia, cold outside. So
Oh,
we're like, we're
good,
gonna
yeah.
stay here for a few days.
Lovely.
But it cleared up, and we went through the 100-mile wilderness. And he like pep talked us. He's like, dude, it's not that bad. He's like, you're at the end, dude. You have like 5 days left. Like, chill out. Like, you've
Yeah.
already done all the trail. Like, why would you be worried now?
Plus, they do the food drop.
yes,
And
we did that.
we did
I'm
too.
not afraid to admit it because
No, we did a food
Yeah,
drop.
yeah, we did.
It's a smart thing to do.
yes, you're the last part of the trail.
We put drinks in the food drop.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, because
yeah.
that's one of the options. They'll because you do a food drop, they give you a beer for free, and then like you could buy more if you wanted to. But they're like, "What kind of beer do you want?"
well, and it's crazy that like I don't know. I want to dispel as many myths about the trail as possible. Like I
Yeah.
know it's crazy all the shit that I panicked about that didn't exist.
Yeah,
Like I was so worried about so much stuff that never happened.
yeah,
And I mean, like, that's a metaphor for life, if anything.
Yeah.
But, like, for real, like, 100-mile wilderness, everyone's like, oh, my God, you're going to die. And we get out there, like, I woke up to a logging truck, like, zooming by where I was camping, like, like 5 in the morning. Like, wow, very wilderness. And it wasn't, there was some tough mountain stuff in there a little bit, but, like,
Nothing that
Nothing
you
that
haven't
you
seen
haven't done
before.
before.
yeah. Nothing you couldn't do.
So the whites on the myths or whatever, the whites were by far the most difficult in my opinion.
You guys called me. I remember.
Yeah.
I was at
Ooh-wee.
work.
Like we called you because we
yeah.
had 5 days of straight rain on the forecast, and we're like, do we hike? Do we
Yeah.
not hike?
I was like sitting at my desk at
Yeah.
work, and I was like, Cale's calling me. This can't be good. So I like got up and ran outside. And you guys were like cutting it out of service. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm exaggerating this probably because that's how I remember it. But
Sure,
like,
that's
we're,
fine.
we're about to go into the whites, and it's crazy. It's the weather, and it was like, I don't know. It might have been like, well, August, June. I don't know. It was like still like pretty warm out.
I think it was.
it was.
I don't remember. July?
It was late
Was it July?
Okay.
It had
so,
to have been
yeah.
July.
It had to
right?
be late
Yeah.
July.
So-
Look,
so
we
it-
finished 2 weeks later. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Summer.
Yeah.
It's summer.
Yes.
And I'm like, I hiked that thing in like dead of fall. Like
Which
it was
is,
like basically September.
Must have
you
been
know?
beautiful.
It was amazing. But like I was like, you're like, what should we do? Should we go around it and come back? I was like, just hike the damn thing. And I was
Right.
like, you guys already hiked how far? You're almost done. And you're like, oh yeah. Like, and I wish somebody would have done that for me. I was like, I'm gonna die for sure.
Yeah.
Because I had to hike that thing in sandals because my shoes fell apart. What were those stupid those They're not Chacos. They're Keen.
Oh,
they're like
okay.
the strap sandals
Yeah.
that go all the way around your foot.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
have boot soles on them, but it was still hiking in like a slippery sandal. And I'm like, if I can do it in that, you guys are golden. Just do it.
Yeah, it is. It just was really intimidating, especially when we did the first. What was it, Moosalak?
Moosalak, going down Moosalak.
Moosalak, yeah,
That's
coming down the whatever the
backside.
The waterfall,
the backside with the water flowing, and several of those mountains through there had
Kingsman,
water,
like we did
coming
Kingsman,
down the
Low
other
Kingsman,
side,
yeah.
and you're just like, the trail doesn't go down there. Oh yes, it does.
Yeah,
You're gonna be
yeah.
climbing next to the water pouring off the side of this mountain.
You're like, damn it, I see that blaze down there.
Yeah, you see it, and you're like, no, please.
I remember Maine.
So you just turn around and slowly crawl backwards.
That's right. Yeah.
Maine, we were walking through like ankle deep water, and it was the trail. I was like, Jesus.
And we did that multiple times.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And then the bogs of Maine too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it
you
is
got
what it
stuck
is.
in one.
Oh, the mountain bogs.
Yeah.
That was
Talk
hilarious.
it's like Lord of the Rings.
I
It's
saw
like,
him from
yes,
I
yeah.
saw him like from half a mile away.
Yeah.
Like I was behind him and like he was in front of me, and I just see like just a person go down like completely one-sided just because he stepped in the bog.
Well, because
And
there's
it like went up to his mid-thigh.
it's insane because there's like there's parts of the trail where like it's not kept.
no,
It's not kept at all.
No.
And somebody like throws down a couple boards and they're like,
That's it?
this should work. And the boards are like sinking in the mud.
we'll check them in 8 years.
Yeah, and they're sinking into the bog, and you're like literally like trying to move as gingerly but as quickly as you can to get across them without your foot being immersed in the stinkiest, nastiest stuff.
It's like rotting moss.
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know.
Vegetation.
It's like rotting vegetation.
Dinosaurs.
It's
Yeah.
scary.
That's where they find dinosaurs and shit.
Yeah, it gets sucked into that stuff.
Did you guys have any like crazy animal experiences? I know everybody is like the only thing they cared about when I left. Like, did you know there are bears out there? Like, yeah, there's bears in southern Ohio, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I
they're
saw
everywhere.
really cool
Yeah.
bears, like
Yeah.
really close. There were,
I think people think that you're gonna get eaten.
yeah.
Like everyone's like, oh, it's a bear. A bear is gonna eat you.
I almost wished it would have happened so they would just like have something to justify their
Not
thought.
to you or
No, to me.
your girlfriend at the time.
I would have did it.
What? Let a
Get eaten
bear
by a
eat you?
Yeah, why not?
Hell of a story.
I mean, it is a great
I
story.
mean, for one of you. Yeah.
It's like black bears usually aren't vicious, but this one, he ate a guy, you know?
And it was me.
He was covered in honey.
It's a death wish, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, bears. I didn't have any problems with bears at all.
Like Shenandoah was like when we first saw bears, and like we were just chit chatting. It was like towards the end of the day, around
Yeah.
dusk, and like
Yeah.
we just turned a corner, and like I was behind him, and I'm like, Cale, look up,
'Cause my head
he's
was
like,
down.
He's like,
You're watching your
look,
feet."
Look where? I'm like, anywhere, like just like, and we saw like a mom with like two kind of adult cubs, like they're fairly
probably
large.
a year old.
Yeah, a year old. But and they were just like kind of like slowly moving away from us, like less than 15 yards away from us. It was awesome.
It was
Like,
incredible, yeah.
That was like our first like real bear experience. Like another one was we were at a campground in the Shenandoahs, and like they had laundry, so we were doing laundry and like charging our phones, and like I was hiking back to the tents because I forgot something, and I saw just like a bear like casually walk across the road, and I reached down for my phone and it wasn't there, and Cale's like, I don't believe that you saw it.
Yeah, because no
don't.
proof.
No proof. Yeah.
But you did. Wasn't that the first bear?
That was the first.
That was the first bear, and you saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Did you guys see any moose?
no, I
No?
saw like the butt of one.
That's what he
like,
says. No
Yeah.
picture once again. So he saw the butt.
Dude, we saw like 10.
You did?
Damn.
But we were up there like fall.
You saw the butt
It was
too?
October. Oh, I saw the butt. we
I saw the butt.
I saw the
Let me
butt,
tell you.
believe me. We were up there, and so there's not a lot of people up there. Like it's the end of basically the Appalachian Trail hiking season is done. Like
That's
we were
probably
out there
Oh,
late,
yeah, yeah.
and there. Like the whole time we were in Maine, I don't think we saw a single other people on the trail besides like the people we had been hiking with.
Which
for
is kind of
Portsmouth.
nice.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
That's a great way to end it too.
It
And
is. Yeah.
We saw so many freaking moose. We saw gigantic bull moose in a stream
Ooh.
feeding. We saw he was with a mom and a calf, and we saw we were getting a shuttle from one of the hostels we stayed at to a trailhead. They were just like two sitting in a pond. We ran into a mom and a calf, like from you to me, or maybe from like me to the door behind you, which if you can see that on camera, it was very close. Like we came around a corner, just like, and you prepare for things. Like, what do you do for a bear? Like, still don't really know what you're supposed to do with a moose, but we basically backtracked and like cut a big U down the mountain a little bit and came back up it around because she was like not having it.
Yeah.
We're like,
I bet they're
Was she
more
making
protective.
sounds or
no,
like
she
pawing
didn't.
or
It didn't
anything?
seem like she didn't care that we were there, but
Okay.
like I wasn't gonna risk that. She was
Was
she
she
looked at us and
staring
was
at
just
you?
like,
They can probably do some damage.
They would
Like
kill
They're
you.
probably
Yeah,
thinking how
they are.
bad you guys stunk.
probably.
Yeah.
She didn't move an inch, and luckily we weren't between her and the baby. She
Yeah.
was between the baby and us.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That'd be a nightmare.
we woke up the first time I ever saw a moose. We woke up at the base of what's that last mountain in the White Mountains? Is it Adams or you come down before you go
the
into
Wildcats?
the pass? Right before the Wildcats. Sorry,
Adams.
the
yeah.
gap between
Madison.
You come down Madison. There's a campsite. Then you're like basically right by the road.
Yeah.
And that's when we took her into town to go to Gorham to go to the
Yeah.
hospital. But that night before that happened, we wake up and we're in our tent, and I hear all this crunching in the woods, and there were signs everywhere, like heavy bears in the area. I'm like, oh shit, there's a bear outside the tent. So I unzip it, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a gigantic moose. It's eating the maple trees outside of our tent, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I have a video of it on my cell phone. I was like the coolest. To me, that was my coolest Appalachian Trail experience. Was waking up to that moose because I was so scared and excited.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like trying to wake Christina up next to me. I'm like, get up, get up, get up. She's like,
It's kind of like Christmas morning for you.
but better.
Scared
'Cause there was
and
a moose.
excited.
Yeah, scared and excited.
Did I get coal? Maybe it's not. You know,
Nope, moose. Better.
a moose.
But yeah, man, I can't believe you guys didn't see moose.
I know.
That's crazy.
I would definitely be way more fearful of a moose in the wild than a black bear, honestly. And people don't get that either.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone thinks like every bear is like a brown bear. They're not. Like, that's why there's black
No.
bear and brown bear.
Black
but
bear are just giant raccoons.
yeah,
Yes.
they're just
That's
hanging
a
out.
good
I mean, you
analogy.
really have to piss one off for it to come after you.
Like,
Like,
we-
it's rare that people get attacked.
We also rounded a corner one time, and there was like a mama bear, and then like 3 cubs like up in a tree, like
Yeah.
crawling, and like the mom was just like pacing back and forth. And
New
we're like,
cubs too. Like
yeah,
they were teeny
They were
tiny.
tiny, so cute. Like
Yeah.
but-
Those are the only ones they say you need to worry about, really. is the
Yeah.
mom. You just don't want to get between them. And the
Exactly.
baby.
Yeah.
Just leave them alone.
Honestly, I think that's like every animal.
Yeah.
Like you never get between the mom and the
Humans.
baby. Yeah. And
po-
humans.
possums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Possums.
Chickens. I don't know. But yeah,
Geese.
man. Well,
Could keep naming animals.
can you recall like the last day, Katahdin? What was it like for you? Like you summit and you're just like, that's it.
So the last day, we actually summited a day early because Jim's family was coming into town. And Pat and Joe were coming up there because Jim and his family, after we were done, they were going on vacation, little family vacay after.
Nice.
And
Acadia and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
see those.
yeah, they were still
So,
going to do some
that
more
was pretty
stuff.
cool.
And I was like, I'm exhausted. Like, I have not been back to Ohio this entire time in like 160 days. And so Pat and Joe were going to pick me up and take me back to Ohio. Jim was going to hang out with his family in Maine. We looked at the weather and we looked at the forecast and we're like, today really this day is the day we need to do it. And it turned out it was exactly 160 days. Like if we would have waited, it would have been 161, right?
Great math. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
But yeah, I know. It's not all I can do.
That's why we keep them around.
That's why they call him Doc.
That's right. So we kind of did it for the number reason as well as
Yeah.
the weather. And that's why we
and
chose
this-
to do it a little bit early.
And that's just like planning the last like 100 miles out, like
Yeah.
from like Monson. And like we
Yeah.
like planned for 7 days, and then we ended up like doing it in 6, like because we only had like a day, like a 2-miler, and we're like, let's just knock it out. Like,
Yeah.
and we got like cell service and looked at the forecast, and
And Jim's family and Pat and Joe were going to meet us at the top where they were supposed to. Of course.
Katahdin?
Yeah.
Wow. That's That's ambitious.
Well, we
Very.
didn't really think about it too hard. And then the closer we got to it and the more we thought about it. And when we had talked to people,
We kind of thought it was
right
going to be
before
another sprinter. Like sprinter's like doable. It's like
Gnarly.
yeah, but
right
Katahdin's different.
Yeah,
Like,
right before the 100-mile wilderness, there was wasn't it ATC right there in that
like
town
in Monson. Yeah,
in Monson, and so
Very
we
small
talked
one,
to
but-
them, and of course, like they have excellent information. They're really great people at that one, and the more we thought about it, we were like, you know, honestly, we should just go do it, and then come down the route that we were going to tell them to come meet us up, and see like how difficult it is, and then the next day we can hike back up if we want to, if we think that they can do it.
Yeah.
So we just did it, you know, and like we kind of surprised them. They didn't know that we were doing it a day early.
So we met them at the McDonald's.
Yeah, after we were done.
yeah,
Beautiful.
Oh, and we did shots in the parking lot.
Hell yeah.
With Gentleman Jack, I
Gentleman
think.
Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, my dad brought that.
Yeah. But
Finished the bottle that night.
but to say like it was just incredible. It's like surreal when you're climbing up that, because like that is the last mountain. I mean, even though you have to come down off of it and nothing counts anymore, you know,
Yeah,
it's like there's no more number. Like that's
It's zero.
It's zero. You're done.
Number one, it's like 360 views at the top. So
It's like being on the freaking moon.
It is.
It's already
It's a different world.
spectacular. Like, and then it's like, I just hiked 2,200 miles or whatever. And it's like, wow. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, it's just so surreal.
You remember, like the kids, like there's so many like youth groups and like, I don't know, people that take, you know, groups of children up there and like young adults, and they're like hiking up, and it's like part of their trips that they're doing. And I remember, one of the adults in one of those groups said, you know, what are your trail names? They're like, well, I'm Doc and this is Chief. And then everyone's like, hey, let's give it up for Doc and Chief. And they all start clapping and cheering. And you're just like, I'm not a celebrity. Like, and like people would like do that a lot.
Like that women's group did it.
The
like
women's
every
group,
time that we saw them, because we just kept on
they
getting
just
back
cheer
and forth.
you on.
Like,
And it's like, you have all these cheerleaders and like, you don't even like think about it. But just,
that's like when it starts hitting you. What was like Maine, like,
yeah,
we're gonna finish.
we're there.
Like, yeah, and it's very exciting. Like, super.
I'll never forget, because there was you remember the French family that was coming down the mountain?
Oh no.
There was like a French family.
Clearly, I forgot.
They were coming down the mountain from Katahdin, from the peak, and they're all like covered in like winter gear, right? Like, you know, they were bundled up. And here's these two hairy, scruffy, fully bearded men in shorts and t-shirts with our packs, you know, and like so many people choose to go up that without their packs, but like we had decided, you know, we've taken our packs like the whole time.
We're kind of purists.
Might as well.
But you can hike however you want, but like,
right.
we chose to
ultimately
hike with the
does
pack,
not matter. But it, you know, we got up there, and I just will never forget the family is like all bundled up, and it's just like, here we are, like this is it. And we got to the top, and it's just magical.
We chilled there, even though it was, not gonna lie, it was cold.
Yeah.
We were up there for about like 40 minutes, I think. It's fun to watch other people make it up there too, especially if they're thru hikers. I mean, it's an accomplishment in itself for anyone that climbs up to the top of Katahdin.
That's a gnarly mountain.
It's so crazy.
Even at the end of the trail, I was thinking like, holy shit, we got to come back down this thing.
There were several times that I'm like balancing around a rock on like this nice
sheer
little
edge.
Yeah, just this edge with like a 10-foot fall behind me. I'm like, just gotta get around this corner of this boulder.
The boulders with the rebar in them going
like
up
climbing.
that thing.
Yeah.
The ladder, but rebar.
Yeah.
There's some sketchy points on that mountain for sure. And I remember like I was so happy, and
but
just
we hiked that in instant, like just the adrenaline of finishing the hike.
You're so joyous. You're like, you're just flying up it, and you're like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm gonna grab this tree, gonna yank myself up here. Like, you're just going. You're having a great time.
We were the only thru hikers up there that day because it was like October 25th or something.
Oh my gosh.
It was like,
it's crazy.
How cold was it?
That's 2 months after we finished.
Ice. Ice.
No.
It took us all day to get. We had the opposite experience. It took us all day to get up, and we were about 3/4 of the way down when it got dark. because we were like, it has to be today. We got up early and hit it, and it was like pure ice the whole way. Like, it was nice at the bottom, and once you started hitting any elevation, like over a couple thousand feet, it was just like sheets of ice. So we're like, oh boy, like trying to balance. And once there's that like plateau at the top where it's flat for a while. Like it's almost at the summit, and you can see the sign.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was ice. We were literally like skating across that, and it was gnarly, but it was like a beautiful, clear day.
Yeah.
But there was just wind and ice, and it was gnarly. We basically like touched the sign. We're like, hell yeah! So we took a nice look around, and we're like, we gotta go.
Didn't you propose up there?
I proposed up there to my wife. Yeah. That was
so
cool.
that took a couple extra minutes.
That took a couple like 30 extra seconds.
Oh, just 30 seconds.
She was like, "Oh my god, thank you!" Like, all right, let's go.
I love how he skipped over that.
This is about you guys. I've told the story a million times.
No, your story's still important. Like, obviously,
I've
your wife's a badass.
Yeah, she is
for sure.
I'd like to get her on a podcast, but she won't do it.
She should. Maybe if we ever do a round table,
we'll do a round table because I want to get everybody's perspective of why so many people thru hike from Ohio.
There's weird.
I know of two other people. There's Cheryl McCormick, I believe, and there's another gentleman from Toledo that I run into occasionally. And then this kid that I'm interviewing in a couple days.
Cool.
Sorry, I don't remember your name at the time. We've been talking for like an hour and a half. And it's like, where are all these people coming from, and why aren't we all hanging out more? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So, and then you guys just told me of someone else recently from Ohio that just
Holly.
thru-hiked.
Holly.
So I need to get in touch with her.
Which I followed. I mean, I followed her. Did you follow her too on her journey? Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I think she's back in Toledo. I think, but yeah, it was just. You just can't describe like how you feel at the end besides just like amazed and super thankful that you made it. I mean, like there's hairy parts, there's scary, like, and I think
it's a huge accomplishment. Like,
right.
Yeah.
So just toot your own horn, Jim.
I mean, it is kind of a sweet accomplishment. But
no. It's super sweet. And you know, like it's on my resume and I'm never going to take it off. Like wherever I go, like I'm going to keep it on there. And like
I do.
The people, like when I came here to Findlay, and I started at this job, like I put it on my resume, like proudly, you know, because like, well, what'd you do in between your last job and this? I hiked the Appalachian Trail. That's where I was. And so they would ask me questions all the time about it and just be like, really? You did that? What'd you do? Like, did you poop in the woods? And like,
yes.
Yeah. It's like,
I still do.
All the time.
There's so many questions like that.
You should see my backyard.
I don't have a dog. But yeah, man, I super like appreciate you guys coming and being on this podcast. Like, I really want to let people know about people like you guys out here doing this stuff because it's so awesome. And like for a lot of people from Ohio, it's unfathomable to like go from this corn world. Mm-hmm. Like I just drove here like an hour here from where I live, and it was like straight cornfields for like an hour drive. Yeah. To go from that to climbing the mountain ranges of the East Coast of the United States of America is like, that's kind of cool, man.
Yeah,
not to undercut people who are from there that do it, but like
no, for sure. But like, there's like no good preparation in Ohio to get you ready.
No,
like at all. And I remember like towards the beginning, you know, you're just doing the up and down, like getting through Georgia. And like, I remember one day I was like, man, this kind of sucks. And Jim was like, well, you know why we're doing this? Because we don't have it in Ohio. Okay. Exactly. And I was like, you know what? This guy's right. I mean, I can't fight him on that. But.
Yeah.
All right. Any last words, gentlemen?
No.
We can do this again sometime, but.
Oh, it'd be fun.
It would be fun.
We should find some other subject to explore.
Oh, we will. Don't you worry.
Okay.
This ain't stopping anytime soon.
All right.
Once the Aptitude Outdoors wagon starts rolling, it doesn't stop very easily. So
good.
All right,
Fantastic.
That's a wrap, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to catch more Aptitude Outdoors, hit that subscribe button. We're coming at you with a ton more podcasts and shows, and we're super stoked that you're along for the ride. So, peace out.